Boom. It is 3:02 on 3/2/25. Brant Miner, we're here to talk about grit basketball. I am the director of grit. We have a couple of our coaches with us. We have a couple amazing features that we're going to be able to showcase here and show you about some of the technology that we're utilizing. So I'm going to turn it over real quick to the main part of no, Coach Lunt. I'm going to turn it over to you just to greet. I know you got to hop off here, Coach Lunt. Really, the head coach at Pacific. I had the good fortune to work with him for 5 seasons there at Pacific. Prior to that, he was the head coach at the UPS, University of Puget Sound, in Tacoma, Washington, for 12 years. So going on 20 years now as a head coach. You do the math. He doesn't look old enough to have that much head college coaching experience. But Coach Lunt, what's happening? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Brant. Just wanted to jump on here real quick. I know we're going to be getting into the meat and potatoes of everything here pretty soon, but wanted to just say hi to everyone. Looking forward to the spring. Looking forward to the summer. Excited to get this thing going. I did want to my only advice I wanted to give you all these next couple weeks is there's a lot of really good basketball from the high school level to the college level. So watch and learn and pay attention. I think that obviously with NCAA tournament starting up here soon with all the conference tournaments, and then there's some great high school basketball going on too. I think Casey and you guys play on Tuesday, right? I think the high school tournament starts up this week too. So lots of great basketball. The way you're really going to improve as a player is in your IQ is by watching really good basketball. I watched the Gonzaga. Anyone watch the Gonzaga San Francisco game last night? It was an awesome game. They actually played where the Warriors play, and just a fun game to watch. So high level basketball, and that's really going to help you guys out as far as building your IQ. So looking forward to the spring. Looking forward to getting going, and hope you all are doing fantastic.
Awesome. Let's go. That game yesterday, the end of that Alabama game, the
Yeah,
five
Tennessee.
second call, Nate Oates drew up a little bit too complex of an out of bounds play that couldn't get it inbounded. And they got the ball and had to go the length of the floor. And was it 3.6 seconds? And the guy hits one from about 35 to walk it off. That was at Knoxville at Tennessee. So, yeah, I echo that. A lot of good basketball. Don't just watch the ball, but watch how hard they play. If they're playing on TV, they're playing hard. And it's a fun time. That's what you hope for. They always say that the spring and summer will tell what happens next spring. So March, we'll know what you did this off season. So if you're not putting in the time, if you guys aren't putting in the work, it'll show. So yeah, next part of this, I'm excited. I know David is with us also, and he has to hop off in a little bit, but this is something that I really want to um, highlight and emphasize that we're gonna have the opportunity to partner. Max Hoops has with Athlete Narrative, and what they've done as far as helping players communicate efficiently and effectively with college coaches is next level. And I know there's players in grit that have aspirations of playing beyond high school, and this is definitely something that is beneficial for you guys to take a look at. So David, I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm going to go ahead and make it so you can share your screen, because I do think that what we're offering is pretty awesome. So you should be able to be co-host now. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. So a little bit about me. I am Vice President of Operations for Athlete Narrative. And so I work with our strategic partners, such as Max Hoops. And we have really just tried to make it easy for you to get to that next level, whether that is from high school to college or from junior college to upper division, right? Those are really the two biggest scenarios that we see. And so I'm really excited to show you guys what we've got. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Start broadcast. Okay. All right. So just got to move your lovely face over. So this is the Max Hoops app. It's powered by Athlete Narrative. And this is one of the easiest ways for you to get in front of college coaches, right? This allows you to build a profile and then easily and quickly send that profile to programs all over the country. It's amazing. This little intro here is just a quick tutorial. I'm going to go ahead and skip it because once you sign up, you'll go through that whole process as well. And this big message right here is critical, that you keep things up to date on your radar page. And you guys are like, well, what's your radar page? Your radar page is kind of like a digital brag sheet. It's a highlight reel. It is your resume. It's like all of the great stuff. And so you build it here in the app. You go through, you tell about yourself, what your position is, when you're going to graduate, right? Some accomplishments, community service part right here. One of the things that we've really tried to pull forward in the radar page builder itself is that you need to showcase yourself as an athlete and as a person, right? The tangibles, those skills that you see, but also the intangibles. And so there's spots within the radar page itself where you can put those things and highlight those, because every coach is looking for who is this person on the court and off the court, right? And so you build this little by little in the app. There's 6 tabs across the top. You put pictures, video, your social links, all sorts of cool stuff. The other cool thing is your metrics. You can display whatever metrics you want, right? If that's your vert, if that's points per game, if that's that you're the gnarliest shredder, or dad of the year, right? I threw ones in here so that you can see that it's customizable. And this radar page that you're building in here then creates a page for you where you can, again, showcase this. And what's cool about this is you can really personalize it, because you can throw a video in the background. You can have it linked to your socials. Again, there's those measurables, different accomplishments. You can have your highlight reel right here instead of a Wim Hof breathing, right? Different stats that you want to include, playlists, pictures, right? This is when someone wants to know about you, this is what you're going to showcase. And what's cool about this is it's a live doc. So if I want to tweak something, or maybe I'm improving in those metrics, all I have to do is go back to the app, tweak this, and save it. And then it's live again. And so it's really easy to put together, but really important, because what's really cool is next, we're going to jump into the recruiter. The recruiter is where all of that information allows you to get in front of people. So I've got this set up for men's basketball programs. All I have to do is choose the division. Let's say I'm going to go to junior college, choose the state. Let's say I want to stay in the Northwest. Okay, I've got 2 universities here. So I've got my choice. Let's say I want to be Southern Idaho. Check this out. I go in here. I see how much does the school cost. I've got links to their socials if I want to check out those pages. And then all I have to do is go down here and say, okay, well, who do I want to send an email to? Maybe I want to first just talk to the assistant coach. All I have to do is hit that email. This little box says, are you sure you want to send it? Of course, you're like, yeah, I want to go play for these guys. Cool. Now we're going to put an email together for you, pulling your radar page info over, and all I have to do is hit send. But this has everything that I would want to have included. You can tweak it from here if you want to, but this is really ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and cancel it because I don't want to send another accidental email. But it's that easy. Choose the division, the state, find the school, do some research, make sure that you're a match for it in terms of your grades, cost, location, all those things, and then choose who you want to send that email to. What's really cool then is you get to watch the stats. How many of you sent out? What does it look like if people respond? So just now I said I didn't want to send another accidental email. A few weeks ago, I accidentally sent the email instead of deleting it as I was showing the app to someone. And what's cool about it is they actually clicked on stuff. So check this out. Right here, I sent the email, and we've got the different things within my radar page and that email that they clicked on. And so because they showed interest, now right here, I can do a follow-up email. And let's just say that they invited me to camp. Okay. And so now, because of that, I'm super grateful. And I want to tell them how disciplined I am, that I've been mentoring, and I'm a leader. Okay. And I want to emphasize the fact that I am draining all of the free throws. Because why not? Now, it's going to build a super personalized email that takes into consideration the feedback they gave us, what I'm trying to accomplish, and what I want to highlight. And all I have to do is read through this. As you can see, this is quite a bit different. And I said, yep, I love it. And then it goes right back to where I can send it, my own email. And that's what's really cool about this is your personal email. This isn't getting routed through a server. This isn't going through some special portal that they have to log into or anything like that. This is you to them directly. So again, we're going to delete that. And it is literally that easy for the recruiter and how you get in front of coaches all over the country.
That's awesome. I love it. First time I saw that, I was blown away. I just love the AI incorporation of the AI, being able to pull out that information into an email. Then obviously you have to even get more customized than that to make it sound more like who you really are. But I don't think it's bad or cheating. So I think it's
No,
really
it does
great,
not.
David.
Yeah, it does 90% of the work for you if you want to tweak it more. And let's be honest, sometimes you're feeling lazy, you can send it, right? And here's what's really cool. We have one kid that's going to fall into that slightly lazy category of not tweaking it a whole lot. Okay. He sent out, this is the past couple weeks that he's been working in the app. Probably total time on app is like an hour. So not a lot. He built his radar page, and then he's just been going in, looking at different schools, sending off all these emails. Okay. He sent 150 emails and he's got 17 replies. He's got 4 that say, come to camp. He's got 2 that said, we want to come watch you play. And he's got another 4 that said, please send us more information, right? Additional clips and things like that. And then the other one said, we really appreciate your interest in the program. We'll be in touch. Right? Holy cow. In 3 weeks, you've got 17 replies for potential colleges, right? And of those, you've got what, 10 that are legitimate, like, hey, these are good conversations and could look at next steps. So there's nothing else like this, right? This is a patent pending technology, and we are trying to get as many people recruited as we can and make it as easy as possible.
I think making it as easy as possible, and you got to get to be better players. Everybody on this call, I'll say that right now. I'll just make sure.
Yeah.
Right. That's a no-brainer. That's a given, right?
No.
So
you are 100% coach. They've got to put in the work.
Right. Like, I love the Ray Allen, like, God will give you a lot of things in life, but God won't give you a jump shot. Only hard work will do that. But he does give us the opportunity to work hard. And I think if you can combine the simplicity of this with the skill, it'll give you more opportunities. And that's one thing that I always stress on these calls is all I'm trying to do is improve your chances of getting from where you are to where you want to be. So there's some kids on this call that want to play college basketball. I think a lot of the kids that we work with have those aspirations, but we don't promise anything with grit. But how can we get you in positions where you can maybe be seen? I love the quote that success is when preparation meets opportunity. So you guys got to get ready, and then we're going to try to put you in positions where you might be able to impress a college coach. But that's not something that I really emphasize as much as the development and the experience with grit. But I also really emphasize getting you guys closer to where you want to be. So I think this is a tool that can help us. I don't think there's many people that will argue that it's going to make it worse, because if you're wanting to play at the next level, you have to put in the time. But this can make your time more about it can save you time. Time saved is, most people know that a penny saved is a penny earned. Well, if you can save some time from having to formulate all these emails, keeping track of the list of who it is that you've communicated with, who you've heard back from, whether it's the second or third email to that person, if this can simplify that, that's going to be immensely beneficial for you as a player, because then you can spend your time doing the stuff that you should be doing, which is getting your ass in the gym, putting in the time, working. But I think this can help a lot. So David, I appreciate you jumping in
Awesome.
and
Thank you.
walking us through that. And we're gonna keep scooting on this. So
Okay.
David, I appreciate it. Hopefully we'll be in touch for sure. I'll let you know if there's any questions.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk
All
later.
right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, David. So that's it. I'm really excited about that, you guys. I think that's something that I don't know how Jacob handled it. I mean, I was in a different era than y'all. So I was sending out, I won't say VHS tapes because I'm not that old school, but it was DVDs. We had DVDs just starting to roll around in 2002 when I started getting recruited, but it was a different era. But I think that I am smart enough to adjust and adapt and pivot with the times. And part of what's helping me do that is guys like this next guy that I'm going to introduce, um, because he is one that I feel like is a little more hip than I am. But he is definitely younger. Nobody can argue that. Hip, I don't know. We might argue that, but he does have those really nice those Apple headphones, or those high society, the things that I wish I had. But Coach Bolger came to Pacific University out of high school, went to high school here in Portland, played at Cleveland High School. We recruited him to Pacific, where I was coaching. My background, I was the head JV coach there. Coach Lunt, who you guys just met, was or is the head coach for the varsity. So I worked for him as his assistant. I was the head JV coach. And Jacob came in as a talented, athletic, but stubborn, bullheaded kid, young man, and boyish, but now man. So I have enjoyed getting to see Jacob develop, but also I feel like he is one of those guys that can help keep me more relevant, because he tells me what some of this slang is that the kids are saying, and I'm like, what is skibbity dibbity hibbity ha sheesh. And now he's in the schools, which is a little scary, but he is a substitute teacher and the assistant coach now. So he ended up going from playing on my JV team for a year to being a two-time all Northwest Conference performer on the floor as an undersized big man who played harder than any player that I've coached. And I think that you guys that know him know that he does take his job very seriously as a coach, but he is ultra competitive. And if you're not giving it everything you have, he's going to tell you about it, because he does give it everything he has every time he's out there. So Coach Bolger, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what's happening. I know you're up north, across the border, but tell us how it's going, maybe what you're looking forward to, why you decided to come back and coach with Grit again this year. Say hello. What's up, Jacob?
Yo, thanks for the introduction, Coach. Yeah, I mean, great introduction. I've got I've got it is interesting to think about how that chain of things goes. I was recruited by Coach Miner, and then played for Coach Miner, and then now I have Coach Miner's old job, and it's like it has opened up a brand new appreciation for, the amount of work that coaches do and the amount of work that Miner did for us when I was a player. Because now I'm doing that this year. So it is kind of interesting to think about that, how that cycle goes. But yeah, just like Miner said, I don't really give a shit how good you are. If you've got a bad attitude, if you don't work hard, if you don't want to play hard, if you just think that things get handed to you and it's AAU and it doesn't really matter, it's a club team, like whatever, like you won't play for me. I'll sit you on the bench, and I won't feel bad about it at all. And I'll let you know too, and I'll let everybody around know. Um, and I think that's the way that the game is evolving, and crap like that needs to get confronted right off. So I'm pretty straightforward. I'm pretty straight to the point. Um, and the amount of effort that you put in is the amount of effort times two that I'm going to give you back. And if you want to get somewhere, we can take you there. And if you don't want to get somewhere, we'll leave you behind, and that's fine with us. But the big thing, the reason that I loved grit so much last year was early on, I preached like the cool guy jacket, and then we don't have the cool guy jacket, and everybody gives 100% at all times, and guys really bought into it. Clayton was on our team last year, and like it just felt like everyone was bought in and everyone wanted to win, and everyone, when they would come to practice, it wasn't bull crap. Like, we got a short amount of time to work together, so we've got to get better, before our tournaments. And we've also got to get better because you guys want to get better for next year, whether that's moving into your senior year of high school or moving into your freshman year of college. Like, we've got to improve you guys. And just the culture that we've got at Grit is extremely inviting for somebody like me. So that's why I'm back. I love all of our former players, and I want to see you guys grow. I want to see you guys get to where you want to be. But also, I love making connections with new guys. So that's why I'm back this year. I want to make connections with more guys, new players, and I want to get you guys to where you want to go. And we've got connections, and we'll make it happen if you guys put in the effort, and most importantly, get better. So thanks for the introduction, Miner. I'm excited to get going with you guys. Let's kick some ass.
Well, I'm ready too. I love that. And it is cool to see pretty soon the guys that you're coaching are going to be coaching. And then I'll be like grandfather coach. I'll be like, I mean, I already am. I understand it. I get it. But I do see Vince is on the call too. Vince played with us last year. But I'm going to go through the acronym. So Clayton, I know you're on the road, so I do appreciate you. You're not driving, right? You're not driving, but you're riding. You're riding.
Yeah, I'm just riding.
Okay, I know. Well, I appreciate you listening in. Tell us what the G in our acronym stands for, Clayton.
Stands for gratitude.
Gratitude. Yes, sir. Good answer, Clayton. Gratitude. We try to talk about being appreciative, being thankful, not taking things for granted. We learned with a pandemic, this thing can be taken away from us. We've learned with injuries, you don't make a team. There's lots of ways that the game can be taken from you. So we really emphasize being thankful in all things and just getting to play. I just love the game of basketball. It's a game. It's a game, but it's my favorite game. And I think it's the best game. It's a unifier. It brings people together from all different backgrounds, races, religions. I just love the game of basketball. So I started Grit 5 years ago, right at the end of the pandemic. I started it to help kids. I had an 8th grade team, and it just kind of grew into where now this spring we're gonna have 20 players, 2 teams, 1 program. So that's my background. I played at Grants Pass High School, grew up in Southern Oregon, had a great high school career, ended up finishing 4th in the state my senior year. Jacob knows Jefferson, the PIL powerhouse. We knocked them off in the first round at the state tournament. and it was a huge upset. So I loved high school basketball. And then I went to the University of Portland. Loved my time on the Bluff up there in North Portland. I played 2 years, well, I used to term play kind of loosely. I was on the squad. I was on the team for 2 years, and I did play in 21 games without a turnover. So if there's, I mean, don't look at my field goal percentage. I'm not going to brag about how well I shot it when I would get into the game in the last couple minutes, but my assist to turnover ratio, we're all smart guys. You can't divide by 0. So infinite or undefined. But I think I had like 4 or 6 assists, but 0 turnovers because I knew if I turned it over, I was coming right back out. I was getting subbed out if I turned it over. So I'd usually give a little shot fake, one bounce to the elbow, swing it one more, um, pass it before I could turn it over. But I like to think that I was one of the best walk-ons in America because I didn't have a turnover. I helped the team grade point average. I won the sprints. I roomed with some of the guys that maybe helped them with their GPA or they wanted me to help them. But luckily, they ended up staying most of the year with their girlfriends. So that way I didn't have to share rooms with Donald. But I loved my time at the University of Portland, and I got into coaching college basketball right after that. I was at Warner Pacific for a year, Southern Oregon University for 5, down in Ashland, Oregon. Loved my time coaching NAIA basketball. Finished my master's degree and moved back to Portland. Didn't coach for a few years. And then when Coach Lunt got the job at Pacific, I started working with him the first year. And it's been really fun to see the program get turned around. It was not in a really healthy spot when Coach Lunt and I started coaching there. And we got in guys like Jacob, and that really helped turn the program around to where now it's one of the best player run programs, I would say, like the leadership from the players. Because when we first got there, we'd have guys showing up at 4 o'clock for a 4 o'clock practice. And that's not how we operate. So the coaches were having to teach all those lessons and skills and habits to build our culture, because culture is a buzzword. Everybody wants a good culture, but how do you build a culture? You build a culture, it takes your beliefs, your behavior, the habits, and then it takes a little experience. So it's what you believe, but it's the habits, what you do every day. That's what creates your culture. Everybody wants the cool slogan, right? Win the day, row the boat. Like everybody wants a cool slogan, but that's not going to give you a good culture. So, I mean, I think we have the best name of any program, but what each letter stands for, we know gratitude. The R, coming back from the pandemic, I really wanted to emphasize resiliency. So being resilient and how you handle adversity, how you handle setbacks speaks volumes about who you really are. And the I, there's a lot of good options that we came across, but intensity. I'd rather be thought of as a little too intense than a little, eh. Coach Minor, I would rather have people say, man, that guy, he's a little intense at times. Yeah, because this is my life and I only get to play it once. So I'm going to show up every day and bring my best and try to be as intense as I can. And that's how we want to play. And so we do wear our core values on our chest. And I like that Jacob kind of said that if you don't do these things, these are non-negotiables. There's certain things, doesn't mean you're going to get to play if you do all those things, but you won't have a seat at the 20 table if you don't. If you don't bring the I, and the T is not toughness. That was a good one. I love players that are tough, but togetherness. So we are 20 players, one program, 2 teams. Clayton can speak to it. Everybody kind of knows everybody. You have to know everybody, because if you don't, we help remind you of what the acronym stands for, or that we're all together in this. And I feel like that's like why Vince is back. Cody's going to be back, and he's actually going to play college basketball in the fall. But it's not Division 1, not Division 2, but he's playing college basketball. And We have players at Oregon Tech to community college to Division III. So our goal is to try to help you get to where you want to be. And we're going to be honest with you. Our first assignment is goals, because that's going to tell us where you want to be, right? That's a goal, is where you want to be. And we're going to try to tell you how to get there. We're also going to be realistic. We might say, hey, like, I don't think that's realistic. I don't think you should be calling John Shire at Duke. John Shire was my assistant. What? Yeah. Summer of 08. It was epic. The epic summer of 08 when Coach Miner had John Shire as his assistant coach at Duke camp when Coach Shire was still a player. I digress a little bit, but yes, if you're good enough, I will call Coach Shire about you. Coach K, yeah. When I met Coach K and he said, you find the next Kyle Singler out there in Oregon, give me a call. Yeah, but that doesn't mean, so if your goals are to play at Duke, we might have to have a serious discussion that you're probably not at that level. But if your goals are to play in college, there's lots of things you can do to improve your chances. The first one is get better grades. If you're a 4.0, try to get to be a 4.4. If you're a 3.6, get to be a 3.8. Get better grades is the first one. The second one is stay out of trouble. There's too many good players to risk going out and partying, drinking, smoking, doing stupid stuff. There's too many good players. And the third is show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future. So think about, who do you hang out with? Who do you spend time with? If you're hanging out with knuckleheads, it's not going to take long until you're doing that same stupid stuff. And one of my favorite quotes, I know if Clayton was at home, he'd have his notebook with him taking notes on this because he's that guy. But all of our players, we want you to take notes. I have my notebook. But if your actions don't line up with your goals, change your goals or change your actions. I'll say that one again. If your actions, what you do every day, don't line up with your goals, then change your goals or change your actions, change your habits. Because you can't have $1 million dream with a minimum wage work ethic. It won't line up. So if your actions don't line up with your goals, change your goals. Be realistic. Say, maybe it's not Duke. Maybe you realize that genetics is a real thing. Genetics, you might work really hard. I worked really hard in college to be the worst player on the team. And people are like, no, you work hard, you're gonna be the best player. Nope. I worked my ass off so that way I could wave the towel and give Pooh and Donald and Coop and all those guys high fives. Like, I worked my rear off just to have a seat at the table, seat on the bench. And I never moped or pouted or complained. I felt like I was lucky to have a uniform. I was thankful to have a uniform. It was always 2 sizes too big. As the walk-on, you don't get to pick your uniform size, but it was always a little baggy on me. Because the bigger guys would always want the double extra larges. So then these 6'10" guys are taking my shorts, leaving me with the really big sizes. Horrible. But I was happy to be there. And that's a lesson that I think I've carried with me. And so 1 to 20 in our program, you're going to know them all. Not everybody's treated the same. Some kids get more than others, but some kids put in more than others. The more you put in, the more you'll get out. It's like most things in life. If you're invest in this and you're engaged and you buy in and you're committed, we're going to go even above and beyond that to try to help you get where you want to be. But if you're one of those that just is more like, just get by, we might not be the right program, because there is a lot of the mental training piece that we're going to be doing. Clayton went through some of that last year with Colin Henderson. They're 60 to 90 second videos, really digestible, applicable mental toughness, mental training lessons. And then you interact with that, you answer some questions, and then our coaches get feedback. Like the way you answer the questions, then it puts it through some AI to give us a report on how we can help. with those mental training lessons, but taking notes, trying to go above and beyond. You know, like Vince, I know has a goal of being an optometrist. So when I hear that, my ears really perk up because I work at one of the top doctorate of optometry schools in the nation. Pacific's doctorate of optometry is one of the top 2 or 3 in the country. If you do see an optometrist, there's a decent chance that they got their doctor from Pacific. So that's something where Vince could be a great fit at Pacific because I know that's what he wants to do. But other kids, maybe they don't want to be an optometrist and they want to be a nurse. Pacific might not be the right fit. UP might be a better fit if you want to be a nurse because they have a great nursing program. Or Linfield. Don't go to Linfield. Don't do that. No, I'm joking. Got to give our rival a little jab. Wouldn't be right if, Coach Bolger's still on staff there. I'm the assistant director of admissions now. But yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. I digress a little bit, but our schedule, we will practice on the Friday nights before our Saturday, Sunday tournaments. We're going to play 5 Portland tournaments, 1 Seattle tournament in the spring. So I think most of you that are watching this live, I have communicated and sent you the schedule. So it is 5 Portland area tournaments, and then we will go to Seattle in the spring. That's through Memorial Day. At the end of Memorial Day, that's when our spring season stops. You have June with your high school program. Then we'll come back in July for another 4 weeks, 4 weekends. So, but that's a separate season because there is some kids that are playing baseball that will join in the summer. There's some kids that will join in the summer that aren't playing the spring. But there's some kids that are playing the spring that won't play in the summer and vice versa. So it'll be a different team. So we'll discuss if you had a good time and want to play in the summer, we'll talk about it if it's a good fit both ways. If you decide that you don't want to commit to summer, then we'll part ways and go from there. So the ask is not that you're at everything, it's that you communicate about everything ahead of time. I don't think the 16, 17-year-old schedule should rule the family calendar. I do believe in family. Coach Lunt has 4 daughters. I have 2 kids. Coach Willis has 3 kids. So Coach Bolger has a lot of stuff going too. He's got more time. Parents, if you're listening, he's got more time and energy. Kids drain energy. Anyways, but we are definitely a family-oriented program and we do cover for each other. So you got to meet Coach Lunt and Coach Bolger. Coach Willis, if you don't know Coach Willis, hopefully you get the opportunity to. And if you don't already, I'm sorry because he is one of a kind. He is the man. Coach Willis brings some of the best energy and positive passionate vibes of anybody I've ever met, and love having Coach Willis around. So there'll be the 4 of us coaching, 20 players, 4 coaches, 2 teams, 1 program. And we'll do Zoom calls during the week, and then we'll practice Fridays before the Saturday, Sunday tournament. Some of those will be at Pacific University in Forest Grove. Some of them will be at Sanders Court in Sherwood. Some of them will have a weekend where we're going to do a mini retreat, 2 practices, and that will be in West Lynn at Twilight Arena. It's a personal family's gym, so it's a really cool full court gym in West Lynn. So we'll do 2 days there in March, and then we will do 1 practice at Dalzell, which is out in Happy Valley, out near Clackamas. And then we're still working on a couple gyms. So if anybody has leads or even if it's, I mean, right now we're looking at any type of covered facility. So we're just trying to get the best opportunities we can, but we do know that this ask in the spring of grit, if you want to get where you want to be, 95% of you, it's not going to be enough. What do you mean? Well, you need to do more. Just coming to grit practices and grit mental training and grit team meetings and playing in tournaments is not enough. We're going to help you. We can set up workouts for you. But we have kids from Hermiston, Klamath Falls, Medford, Central Point. So we have players coming from all over the state, literally. Well, literally, people coming from Klamath, 5 hours. Hermiston's probably 4. I'm not sure how 4. So it's a trek. So there's people that are really committed to this. So we're only taking 20. We're selecting 16 hand-picked that we're going to offer spots, lock in 16 spots. Then we're going to have evaluations and select the final 4. So there's some players that have said, well, I want to wait and try out for this team and this team. And that's totally fine. But then you won't be getting one of those 16 locked in spots. You'll be trying out with everybody else for one of those 4 spots. Some players we've already offered a spot and we're going to hold it for a little bit longer. And then we're going to say, okay, you would go into the tryout. Or there's been people that we've offered that have accepted. So we have a good core group of guys coming back with a good mix of newcomers. We know kind of what we have. And so we're being picky about who we invite. And it's not just the players, it's their commitment to doing more, to buying in, to engaging, to getting to know other players from around the state that have similar goals and interests. You're gonna have to talk. We're gonna make you do a video. You're gonna have to do an intro video that we send to all the players and parents, and that way you get to know each other. So I know it's not the most comfortable thing for a 17-year-old to get in front of a camera and have to introduce himself, but you do it. You don't always want to get up and get out of bed and go to class, but you do it. I don't always feel like wanting to dad. Sometimes I'm like, shit, I'm tired. I don't want to be dad right now. I just want to go lay down on the couch, but you dad, you do it. And that's a lesson that we're going to try to teach you guys, and stretching your comfort zone, trying to find comfort in being uncomfortable. So all those things, the intro videos, and parents, we're going to, like I said, togetherness. So parents will do a video introducing themselves to the other parents and players, and we put those together, send them out. That way, when you see each other in the gym, you're not strangers. You feel like you kind of know each other. I think 3 of the guys found out they all like to fish last year through their videos. That I didn't know that. I didn't know the guys like to fish. I like to fish in Alaska. When every cast I pull huge fish. I'm a fair weather fisherman, but they like to go fishing. They got home from a Seattle tournament, instead of going and watching a movie or hanging out, they went fishing. They got their poles and went out. So we do try to do those videos that just get to know each other better, stretch our comfort zone. And I don't think it's ever going to hurt you to be able to articulate yourself and who you are. So, but that's kind of the schedule, the philosophy. We will have awesome uniforms. I think some of you guys have seen the uniforms. If not, check them out on Instagram, Grit Oregon. We put grit on the front. We put your last name on the back. And we don't just play for the name on the front. We play for the name on the front and the back. Some teams will say, oh, you play for the name on the front. Well, you're also representing your family. You're representing more than just yourself. You're representing more than grit, but you're also always representing grit. So that's why, even if we're getting beat by 30 if somebody walks in the gym, they shouldn't be able to tell which team's up or down by how hard we're playing. We can't always control the outcomes. We control the inputs. Process. You can't always control. Some of the games we might run into guys that are just way bigger. E plus R equals O. We love acronyms. They help us remember stuff, and that's one of my favorites. The event. You don't always have control over the event. But you take that event and you add it. Simple math, folks. You take that event and you add your response. How you respond. Event plus response, that gives you your outcome. It's not E equals O. Event doesn't equal the outcome. Event plus response equals outcome. And I think that that's something that sometimes in AAU we're gonna get blown out. Hopefully not too often. But there's gonna be times when you run into teams that are just way bigger, better. And there's gonna be times when you do blow teams out, but we're not gonna play down to the level of our competition. We're not gonna feel sorry for, if they're in the tournament, we're gonna play them. And we're not gonna let our energy or attitude be swayed by the scoreboard. We're gonna play as hard as we can and play together. And if we do those two things, win or lose, I'm going to go home and sleep well. Well, I won't lose sleep over the game. I might not sleep well. My daughter's not a great sleeper, but I'm not going to lose sleep over if we play hard and we play together. And that's why we do the Zoom calls. So we do have the kids coming from Hermiston, from Enterprise. Yeah, Kason, you heard that, or anybody else doesn't know. There's Hermiston and Enterprise. Enterprise is deep. Salem's far. Corvallis is pretty far, but Enterprise, that's a commitment. So there is kids that are serious about this, and that's why I take it serious. I am the assistant coach because I can't be at everything because I do have a young family and my wife is a busy woman and I can't just take 6 hours on the weekends and be in the gym. So I get to the games when I can. I think Maggie broke up a fast break last year by running on the floor during the game. I think and then everyone's like, oh, is she okay? I'm like, I told her to do it. Like I told her to run out there, like step out there, take a charge, Maggie. But yeah, so I think that's about all we had to cover. If there is individual questions, I know I've spoke to most of you or your parent or your guardian. So I'll be reaching out to each of you. If you're watching this on replay, thanks for watching. And definitely, like Coach Lunt said, I just want to emphasize that again, watch basketball. Watch into game situations. Watch what they do. I watched quite a bit of high school basketball games this year as like commentator or just watching games. And I was amazed by how guys would 13 seconds left in the quarter, no shot clock on, and they would burp up some just crappy shot. What are you doing? Don't you? And then they come down and get a shot or they get a bucket or their guy gets a foul and they go, and I'm like, why? Like, what are you doing? And I can't say that when I'm on the radio or the TV because you get in trouble for saying, what an idiot. Why would you shoot the ball with 12 seconds on the clock with no shot? You're just not supposed to say that. So I'm gonna have to bite my tongue a little bit. But if you did that, Clayton, if you shot some crappy shot with 10 seconds left in the quarter, like why would you not hold it for one shot? Like, what are you doing? I would tell you.
Clayton's too smart to do that.
Clayton would know way better. He would not do that. But no, seriously, watch basketball games, time and score situations. Watch runs. Like a team goes on a 6-0 run, the next time they get the ball, the team that hasn't scored in a couple possessions, you need to get a really good shot. You don't take a questionable shot after a team's going on a 6-0 run. A shot that might be, then that's not every shot's the same. Time and score, who you are. What's a good shot for Clayton, I might not want somebody else to take. What's a good shot for Vince, I might not want Clayton taking. But it's about time and score, situation, flow of the game, and that stuff you can learn by watching. And watch how hard Bruce Pearl has his guys play at Auburn. Watch what Nate Oates is doing at Alabama. That was a tough game yesterday. That game against Tennessee, that was a great basketball game. And for somebody that doesn't, I didn't really, I mean, I know Nate Oates. I worked at camp with him, so I kind of like Alabama, but I didn't really care who won. I was like, shit, that was a good game, man. Like back and forth. And they finally turned it over, 5-second violation. And that kid hit that deep shot. But you can't let a guy just dribble up into a shot like that. They had to get up and not foul him, obviously, but try to turn him, make him change direction at least once. But you watch that stuff, you learn, you listen to the commentators, listen to the coaches that are talking about the game post game, and try to get better. Study the game. And that's if you want to take this to the highest level you possibly can. If you're just having fun, hopefully you're not going to play for grit. But if I do make a mistake and pick somebody that doesn't care about basketball or take it serious, then I make a mistake. But that's why we do a lot of kind of screening when we pick the 20, is because we want to make the right 20. It's not the best players. It's not the smartest. It's not the nicest. It's not the best looking. It's the right fit of kids in our program that buy into what we're trying to do. And it is more than just roll it out, let you play fives and not do anything else. So the Zoom calls, have a notebook, right? Like when you do these Zoom calls, I have my notebook. I want players that are eager to be coached. I want players that want to learn the game from coaches that know the game. Coach Lunt, like I said, has been a head coach now, 19th season, and he's like 45 years old. Like he's like a prodigy. But he's getting better all the time too, and so he's trying out things with grit. And Coach Lunt was a former head college coach, longtime assistant at the D3 level, and then got a head college coaching job. So yeah, there's a lot of coaches that are here to help. Obviously, Coach Bolger, he's going to be available sometimes to get you guys in workouts, and we just want to really try to get you guys from where you are to where you want to be. And I know we keep hearing that, but everybody's goals are different. Everybody's got different aspirations, but no promises. But we're going to try to do what we can to get you closer, better your odds of getting what you want. So that's about all we're gonna have. We have about 5 minutes till 4. Vince, are you able to unmute? Tell us maybe why you're coming back after playing last summer and your experience, or just, I know you're kind of skipping a little bit, so hopefully you're able to give us your experience of playing with grit and why you're coming back.
It was honestly probably one of the best experiences I had with basketball, and I'm not saying that just for biased reasons, but especially with the experiences with college coaches and just the group of guys that we have there. It was great. Honestly, just the intensity and the energy that we had and the camaraderie as a group. That's probably the main reason why I'm coming back, and just how much time and energy that the coaches put in for us. It's honestly that's probably the biggest reason why. It's just them, everyone buying in, everyone having the same aspirations, and that is the overall win, and be the best person that we can be. So yeah, that's the biggest reason why I'm coming back.
Love it. Thanks, Grit. Or Vince. Thanks, Vince. I appreciate that. And you do exemplify grit. You are tough, great leader. And so we appreciate you coming back. I'm excited to get back in the gym with you because gyms are better when you're in them, Vince. You have a great positive energy. If you guys don't know, Vince is at LaSalle High School. You guys still going? Still going? Let's
Yeah,
go.
our last game's tomorrow against Wilsonville.
Wilsonville.
Yeah.
And then you guys will make the playoffs though, right?
Yeah, right now we're ranked 8th in 5A. So.
Try to stay in that top 8. Give Wilsonville a run.
Oh
They
yeah.
already since clinched it though.
They're under investigation right now there's 2 games that they had. One of them against Centennial, they hit a game-winning shot, and then they supposedly had 6 players on the court. And then with Canby, it was a whole spiel, but they're gonna have to might call that game back. So tomorrow might be the conference championship. So
So just do what you can do, right?
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
beat them. And
Yeah.
then don't worry about the rest of that stuff because that stuff's beyond your control.
Oh,
Let
yeah.
the higher ups deal with all that, right? You worry about getting your guys ready and knock off Wilsonville,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And then even if it doesn't work out and they keep the wins and you're still not, then so be it. You beat them, right? So
Exactly.
do
Yeah.
do what you can do, man. I'm excited to follow that. That's Tuesday night.
Tomorrow night.
It's
We play
Monday
tomorrow
night.
night.
Monday night.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be following that one closely, Vince. Let's go.
Thank you.
But I do think our bench was probably the most. I don't know. I was thinking lit, but I don't know. Is that still like, is that, am I too old to say that? Is that no longer a phrase? I thought it was good. It was lit. Like it was hyped, hyphy. I don't think hyphy is something I should be saying. I don't even know what that hyped, lit. It was energetic, was contagious. And you hear Coach Willis going, boom. And just the guys getting excited when somebody else scores. That's probably one of my favorite parts is seeing guys that are truly excited for their teammates because they do get to know each other and like each other. And that's what the Zoom calls are about. We do scavenger hunts. We're going to do trivia and try to keep it entertaining and get the guys engaged. But it is 3:59, so we're gonna go ahead and sign off. If anybody wants to reach out, I'll be following up with all of you guys. Carter and Lane, I appreciate you guys joining in from the east side of the state. Good to see you. And I will stop the